Alright, I think I did it. 1 whole minute late. Let's see if Kevin Keller's in the house, Mrs. Comic's in the house. And that possibly could be it tonight. Clee's sister could be in the house tonight. Let's see if we can rock this thing. Alright, here we go. Raymond the Amish Comic here, trying to make Tuesday suck less. It's really hot. The lovely Mrs. Comic is in the house hanging out with you guys and gals. Richter said he's got a test tomorrow. He's got to study, and he apologized. Never apologize for wisdom. So I'm sorry to be late here and launching this thing late. My Streamlabs template had an update, and it wanted everything to get streamed to Facebook Live, so I had to undo that. And that was a pain in the ass, and I didn't figure it out until about, however, 7:15. So that made me nutsy toodles. Mrs. Comic and I, look, Kevin Keller rocking that shit. That's fantastic. Let's see, this is more like a telethon now. That was actually the goal right there. That's absolutely fantastic. So here's to Kevin Keller. I'm taking that as a happy belated Father's Day. For crying out loud, I'm streaming live, trying to make Tuesday suck less, which is the point, see. Thank you, that's very nice. Tuesday suck, and it's really hot. Mrs. Comic and I were doing an errand for our daughter and her partner, and they have a place over in Bethlehem, so I ran to a Lowe's to get a thing to drop off so they could do something else. If you Lehigh Valley, Allentown area, Emmaus, if you have to go on Route 78 towards Bethlehem, Easton, New Jersey, New York, and it becomes 309, and 412 is the Bethlehem, Hellertown exit. If anything goes wrong, you are fucked in multiple buckets of goo. So when we come back from our daughter's house in Bethlehem, we swing through Hellertown, we go the back way because something bad always happens up there. I don't know if it's tractor trailers. I don't know if it's maniac drivers. I don't know. But when it gets fucked in a bucket of goo up there, it really gets fucked. And then that's why I love the Waze app. The Waze app tells you all this shit. Plus, we don't trust it. It could be clear, and in a second, it could be just fucking jam-packed with all kinds of hell and horror. Today, we could see hell and horror up before we would go up on the highway, which I wasn't doing anyway. But even the back way was fucked in a bucket of goo. Main Street in Hellertown was double-barrel traffic back all the way and not moving. Fortunately, there's a new Turkey or a Wawa convenience store there, and it was actually convenient because it carves a back road through behind the college over there, and it's one of those deals where we've all been there. There's hellish traffic ahead of you, and there's an exit that's like a back way, and that's not even the back way that we take. And you got like however many feet or blocks to figure out if you want to do it. Mrs. Comic cheered us on. We did it. We carved through the back route. That is a fucking nightmare. It probably would have taken us an hour, maybe 90 minutes to get home. Mrs. Comic and I went to a friend's wedding a couple years back. We almost didn't make it. Same shit happened because when hell happens up there, the back routes get flooded and jam-packed also because tractor trailers are coming all this way. So we're going really nuts. We're losing our minds. Mrs. Comic is so sweet. She had pointed out how hellish it must be. There's a lot of construction right now. It's fucking 90 plus degrees out there. That sucks batshit balls. It's hot. It's miserable. I don't have anything prepared, which is exactly why I can't even talk, one sip of bourbon and I can't talk, decided to stream, because if we're having a crazy day, we believe you folks probably are having a similar crazy day. So fuck it, we'll just wing it here. So I think Richter's studying, and we wish him well. Don't cheat on your test. That always comes back to haunt. So we made it. A couple, 3, 4 things to talk about. Friday night, June sucks batshit balls for comedy. I have a thing. I just did a thing Friday night. A casino, Parks Casino in Shippensburg. It is only open a year. Unbeknownst to me, it used to be a Lowe's, and that's where we went today to get a thing to take off the garden hose. Never mind that. It's not a commercial for Lowe's. It's just it's kind of weird to be performing in a casino where everybody knows it used to be a Lowe's, except for me, and I actually incorporate that into my show. I don't really know exactly how. Now, I'm not. I don't go to casinos a lot. Casinos that run a comedy night, that if it's not Jerry Seinfeld or whoever it is, they have special rooms that are usually not really that far off from the actual casino. And it's really an exercise in concentration because the slot machines and all that shit are like right there. I gotta try to focus on this stuff. Caesar's throwing some shit around. We'll talk about Caesar in a moment or two. I don't know what the hell he's doing. He's nuts in the best possible fun way. But the brain power that is required. Okay, so here's the thing. Now this is slot machines, right? And they're dinging, and there's announcements, and there's commotion, and all the sounds that you expect to hear, like in Twin Peaks season 3. Except for, I've always looked. Richard's not watching, but if he does watch this, he'll appreciate the little uh, Black Lodge gnome appears on the slot machines, and then that's how you know to win. And then Dougie Jones pulls the thing and says, hello, and all the fucking money comes flying out. So I'm channeling that, but I wasn't gambling. So this casino behind me that you're looking at, okay, so right there, that's what I'm looking at. That's the casino comedy club right there, and there's no separation. I really basically just turned around. There's casino behind me, and there's comedy club there in front of me. Now, they're new at running comedy. The show was free, so I didn't get paid $1 million, but there's pressure on me to sell out a free show. If the show is free and you don't sell it out, it's actually quite embarrassing. So now this picture that I took here, I love my geezers, by the way. I'm taking this picture, and this is the second one I took selfie. The first one I wasn't happy with an angle. After I took the first one, a nice old man came up to me and he said, wait, I'll tell you what he said. Hang on. He said, right there, he goes, don't you know how to take a selfie? I said, yes, I do, thank you. He said, well, I saw that you took two, and I was wondering how come it took you two to take it, and I can take a picture for you if you want me to. And I tried to be nice when I'm there. I actually wasn't happy with how the first one looked, so I changed the angle, but I appreciate that very much. So give it up for geezers who are worried about an Amish comedian at a casino and thinking that I can't possibly take a selfie. So that was some crazy pants nuts fun there. It was actually quite a fun show, and I think I'll be back there again next year. They only told me it was a Lowe's. It was just a thing people talk about, I guess, when they go to the casino. You know, it used to be a Lowe's. Well, I don't, but I do now, and the next time I go, I will know that. So that was some fun stuff for me. Crazy drivers. It's always a little exciting to come home. Pennsylvania, that I love, has maniac drivers. I've talked about this before. When the speed limit is up to 65, people drive 80. And when it drops down to 55, they don't give a fuck. They just stay at 80. So I'm going to deal with all this kind of shit on the way home, and I behave myself. I don't have any alcohol, no bourbon until I get home, because I got to watch out for all the bad drivers. Now, moving right along here, Caesar has been tearing it up. This, I don't know if your cats do this. I call this sitting like a man. They're standing like a man, sitting like a man, walking like a man. This, our daughter calls this proper. Caesar is such a proper boy. he sits on a sofa like this with me. It seems like we could just crack a couple of beers and watch the ball game. It's the craziest thing. Uh, so if your cat sits that way, you can refer to it as it is sitting like a man. Even if it's a woman, it's not a sexist thing. I could say Caesar's sitting upright like a woman, except he's a man, so it doesn't work. But you get the point. So there's that right there. Now let's see here. I don't have many pictures ready tonight on account of I was in panic mode. And again, um, that's all the more reason for me to stream live. I figure if everybody's going nuts, let's go nuts. So here we go. So now while I was out at Shippensburg doing my show, Mrs. Comic was dog sitting for my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law in town here. And then of course we only have one car. TMI, too much information, but it's not that long of a walk, except that this bear was walking around Emmaus this week, and Mrs. Comic had texted me at the casino that she's going to be starting her walk home, and I'm proud of myself because I didn't remind her to watch out for the bear, because that should be a thing that's apparent and obvious. And if you say watch out for the bear, it kind of scares the fuck out of someone who might just be enjoying a walk home. I'm trusting Mrs. Comic well enough to, if she sees a bear, to just, you know, Dougie Jones, call for help. I don't really know what you would do if you saw a bear while you were walking home. Well, I searched, another reason I'm not prepared, I searched 43 minutes to find a video. There was a bear. One night I was late to a show because this bear was running around. That's why I'm a little late for my show. There is a bear running. So this is up. I don't think it's a good idea to chase it. 15. That's a bear. That's why I'm a little late for my show. There is a bear running. Half a mile away from where my show was. I don't think it's a good idea to chase it. Right there, and it's fenced in on 3 sides. That's a bear. That's why I'm a little late for my show. There is a bear running. Small parking lot, and then on the other side, I don't think it's a good idea to chase it. Nitwits were in there. That's a bear. That's why I'm a little late for my show. There is a bear running. I don't think it's a good idea to chase it. It's an 8 o'clock show. It was already 10. That's a bear. That's why I'm a little late for my show. There is a bear running. I don't think it's a good idea to chase it. That's a bear. That's why I'm a little late for my show. There is a bear running. I don't think it's a good idea to chase it. It ran to all the different directions. That's a bear. That's why I'm a little late for my show. There is a bear running. I don't think it's a good idea to chase it. Out of there. So I did, and they stayed. I don't know what happened there, but then another, probably 50 yards down the road, there was a house pretty much on the other side of the post office. That they had a big family picnic. Kids were running all around, and they didn't see the bear. There's no way. They were partying there, having a good old time. So I stopped and I said, "You said kids running around here, and you have everybody's outside. There's a bear running around on the playground down there by the post office, and it's having panic attacks." Right? So I thought you should know if you have kids running around. And the guy said to me, he goes, "Well, how big is the bear?" I thought, well, how the fuck do you care how big the bear is? Do you think the bear is not going to, do you think a small bear is not going to eat your children? What the fuck kind of dumb question is that? You think you would have said, "Fuck, there's a bear, we got to get everybody in, hide the food." But apparently they were only afraid of a bear if it was a certain size and weight, which I did not record for them. I did my bear warning duties, and then I fucking moved on. So that was kind of really fucking stupid. And again, a bear running around Emmaus is kind of weird. Somebody filmed it. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and although the video was cool, I gotta question how assholish it is to drive a car in this quiet town with a bear running that way. I think that some sanity levels should sink in there where you might think, oh, the bear's probably really afraid. Perhaps I should just pull off and just let it run wherever it goes. But they drove behind it a little bit and then they were filming this thing. But who am I to judge how someone would behave when they're driving in a town at 3 o'clock in the morning where there's no people and there happens to be a fucking bear running there? I probably would be doing the same thing. So we had some bear excitement. And now you just got to be ready for a bear to come in here. With the mountain, South Mountain's right behind us. We get weird weather because it's right there. But we also have been known to get deer walking around 3 o'clock in the morning. Foxes, however you say it. The bear is new. Raccoons and all that stuff, we get them walking around the town here. But the bear is definitely new. So if you come to Emmaus late at night and you see a bear, it's not because you are all fucked up. Well, maybe it is. I don't really know. But we now have bear in this town. Now that brings me to my next ramble here. Let's see. Okay, so I can't remember what the hell I told you about last week, but I think I remember complaining at the doctor because I am now 66 years old and I hadn't been to the doctor since I was 64. They started to ask me questions that I perceived as old man questions, but I didn't get it right away. And so for reasons that are not really anything all that exciting, I found myself having to go to the Social Security office to present some forms. And the Social Security office in Allentown is right across from the prison. And so when I was supposed to go there and present these documents, and then whoever would see them was supposed to call someone else up and say, yes, he's good to go, everything's fine. But when I got there, Mrs. Comic came along with me. The sign said, this building has been condemned and it is not fit for human habitation. All right, so that's when I'm at the Social Security office thinking, fuck me in a bucket of goo. The Social Security actual office probably needs to file for disability because that's what you would do if you can't have people in there. So I was panicking and I was thinking, if it's not fit for people to be in there, it might not even be fit for people to be out here reading this sign. It actually should have said, if you can read this sign, you're standing too fucking close to a building that's not safe for people to be in it. How the fuck do I know which way it is? So as the story unfolds, around the corner is the new, improved, okay for people to go in Social Security office. So I figured out a whole bunch of stuff this week because of that adventure and my being over 65. You want to know why so many senior citizens are pissed off? I'll tell you exactly why. You're considered a senior citizen at 65. That pisses me the fuck off. I don't like being referred to as a senior citizen. I will take the senior citizen discount at the medical marijuana store. That's the only place that I like to use it. But when you hit 65, you're basically considered old. And then people check up on you all the time and they want to make sure you're doing stuff. And that's the thing that pissed me off about the doctor. He said, do you like to do stuff? And I'm there, yeah. Which later on I thought about it, that was a lie, because I prefer to do nothing. Whenever I have a chance to do nothing versus doing something, I will typically pick nothing, unless we're talking about, when you see sparks or ride a roller coaster or whatever, driving movies. But as far as liking to do stuff, I'd rather pick not doing stuff, especially when it's so fucking hot. When you go out there and people are sitting out, I know I'm not trying to rag on your picnics and all that shit, but if it's 100 degrees out and you're cooking outside and you have a cold beer and you could be inside with air conditioning and a cold beer, I will err on the side of doing nothing. So that's why so many geezers are pissed off, and then they check up on you and they want to make sure, like Like if you go down steps and everything, that was one of the questions that pissed me off. Do you get dizzy when you stand up? If I had 9 bourbon bowls and some trunks and I didn't have enough food, possibly I would get dizzy, but I don't really put myself in that position. And then, just when I start to settle down a little bit, the AARP magazine shows up. These things come automatically. You don't have to subscribe. They just show up in the mail and they go, "We heard you're old now, so we thought you'd enjoy these old magazines." And on the cover is Bon Jovi. And the way my brain sees this is, hey, look who's on the cover of Old Man Magazine, Bon Jovi. You thought he was dead. He's not. Look who's still alive. AARP. Fuck me in 2 buckets of goo. So that's why senior citizens get so fucking pissed off. And then when you want to help them do little shit that they can do for themselves, I'm not saying don't help geezers. I mean, what the fuck? Help geezers if you can help them. But don't ask them, like, you know, can I help you pick up that glass of bourbon and hold it to your mouth? Although, if it comes to a point where I don't have any arms and I need that, I will be definitely asking someone to put a straw in there or bring the bourbon over to where I can enjoy it. So, apparently I'm old now. Apparently I'm old, and I did lie about liking to do stuff. So there you go. I caught myself. I guess that's what happens when you get old and become a senior citizen. You just, I like to do stuff. Get the fuck out of here. Let me home so I can do nothing. I mean, what the fuck? What, I mean,
Ethan Kramer wants to know what's your favorite ice cream and my favorite ice cream.
okay, so we've got an ice cream question here. Boy, that's a tall ask. I really love ice cream, and I like black raspberry, but I like different kinds of chocolate. We just tried a Belgian chocolate ice cream. Chocolate peanut butter ice cream is absolutely fantastic. And that's a great question, and I'll tell you for why. Many years ago, we went, when our daughter was little, we went to Chincoteague in, I think, not the one in Maryland. If you go down to the next state, Virginia, whatever, to see the wild horses run, and there was a Mr. Softy ice cream there, which is the commercial. It's the McDonald's of ice cream, is what it is, and I couldn't fucking wait. So I had to get a Mr. Softy ice cream cone. It was like this, a cone, and it was about 9 feet tall, and they couldn't fucking eat it. It was a nightmare. Mrs. Comic and our daughter, who are both infinitely smarter than I, noticed there was an actual proper olden days ice cream shop around the corner, and they waited for that. But me, I couldn't wait because I'm like a little kid. I gotta have the ice cream right now. So I had this big fucking nightmare dripping all over my hand, and they went and got the old ice cream parlor style ice cream. Now, mind you, I might have all kinds of money floating around, but I'm not afraid to take the shitty ice cream cone and throw it in the garbage and get the better ice cream cone. So I like all kinds of ice cream. I like strawberry, but I don't like berries and shit in my ice cream. Cookies, whatever the hell it is, that's fantastic stuff. But I don't have an exact kind. So that's kind of a terrible answer, I guess. I do like to get what my wife and daughter are getting, unless I know it's something they hate. So I will often wait to hear what they order, so I don't want theirs so bad. One of the worst things I ever got was, oh, if you're in this area, trying to figure out what they're late. If you go down Route 309 from the Allentown area and you go far enough, Lake Nakamixon is down there somewhere. If you go and bang a left at Lake Nakamixon and keep driving, one of the other problems with me is I make up stupid names for shit because it's funny and that's how I remember. But then when I have to tell other people about it, that stupid name doesn't really help them. I call it One Cow, but it's not One Cow. Is it Oh Wow Cow? Is that it? It's a fantastic ice creamery right at the end of Lake Nakamixon. It's really fucking good. I think they make all their ice cream there. They have amazing flavors, and I'm still recovering from ordering blueberry lemonade pie, which sucked batshit bowls. It was like a fucking Pepto Bismol sherbet, and I fucking tossed that and had to get the better ice cream. But so that's a fantastic ice cream place if you get out there. If you get out to World's End, the town over, Eagles Mere, has another fantastic ice cream shop there. Now, uh, because this question was asked of me, I'm going to be fucking hell bent on getting ice cream tonight. I think we have some, so that's good news there. Um, but yeah, I never really cared for the banana splits or whatever the hell they are. I like a good ice cream sundae, but basic stuff, chocolate, peanut butter, all that. This is probably one of the most boring questions I've ever answered on a live stream of ice cream, but uh, but it made me want ice cream, so there's that. Um, oh, back to uh, this is related to ice cream because it was Father's Day. Father's Day, we have stuff that we like. Um, my daughter and her partner got me this most amazing shirt. If you've seen my show in recent times, we have a J.G. Wentworth sing along, and I now am the proud owner of a J.G. Wentworth shirt that's way too big, but it's going to be like pajamas. And this is a shirt that I'll be able to eat ice cream in, sing the song, and drip ice cream. This is the kind of shirts you could wipe your face on them. So it's good to have shirts that don't really fit, that bring you joy, J.G. Wentworth, and you can also drip ice cream on them. So that was a fun. We had a really nice Father's Day. We just hung out, and I don't think we got ice cream, but we had some vegan treats, and we had some. Well, they let me design shit, so I kind of ruined our meal with like appetizers and cheese and crackers and all kinds of fun shit like that. See if I made some notes here. It's fucking hot. I know that. Bear in Emmaus, we got that. Caesar sits like a man, we got that. Bear at the post office video. Oh, here's some weird shit. Um, this goes back to the heyday of Facebook. When Facebook first came out, there was an obsession with getting as many friends as you possibly could. And people would send you friend requests if you had a mutual friend, and then I don't know them. So if you know somebody that I know, that doesn't mean we're friends. So I never accepted those kind of friend uh, requests. So that's not really how you get friends. We have a very small group of totally fucking amazing friends, of which you folks are part of our club. Coral Nolan, who sometimes is in this stream, she's fantastic. She's family, as far as I'm concerned. She's a dance teacher in Emmaus. If you know anybody in Emmaus that needs to take or wants to take dance lessons, kids at any age, she's absolutely fantastic. She has a Broadway background. She's a sweetheart. She has horses. She comes to my show. She's just an amazing person. She actually gave Mrs. Comic dance lessons many years ago, and then gave her daughter dance lessons. And also, since she has a Broadway background, she doesn't just teach them how to dance. She teaches them like how to stand properly, and it's very funny. I sat in on a couple lessons. She says, when you do your thing and then it's not your turn, you just can't frump. You have to stand, like a dancer would stand. So now, Mrs. Comic went out to let the dog out that we were dog sitting, and she ran. And this was actual Father's Day, and she ran into Coral at the market, and Coral was happy to see her and asked, when you know people, don't be afraid to ask them random questions about ridiculous shit, because you never know. Because Coral was telling Mrs. Comic that she was just gifted 7 teeny tiny baby quail. That's kind of an amazing gift. And now Coral has a barn, and she's got horses, and she has chicken. She knows what the value of these quail are, but she doesn't really know exactly how to take care of them. So she said, I was given 7 quail. Actually, I split 14 quail with somebody else. I was given 7, and my friend was given 7. Mine are living in a barn with the horses, and the horses don't give a fuck, and the quail don't care about the horses. But the other 7, the guy was a nitwit, and he just let them in the yard, and the hawk came and took the other fucking 7 quail. But that's not even the point of the story. The point of the story is she told Mrs. Comic she didn't know which quail were male and which quail were female. Now, you might think that's an insane question to ask Mrs. Comic at the market, but our amazing friend and neighbor Tom has had quail, and he loves them, and we've seen them, and so she networked me to network Tom, and he wanted to see pictures. I should have put quail pictures in here, and I asked him how can she tell? Do you pull the quail's pants down and see if it has a dick, or I don't know. So he said depends on the species. Send pictures. So he sent pictures. I sent them to Tom, and he goes, whatever kind of quail they are, I don't even know the name. That's my specialty. So Father's Day, I was playing secretary to our good friend Coral, dance instructor, Tom the neighbor, and 7 quail, and now she knows exactly which of those quails have dicks and which ones do not, and she knows what kind of food to give them and all this shit. And that was really kind of a fun, amazing way to start my Father's Day. So, I mean, how often do you get to have a neighbor who knows all about quail, run into a friend at the market, have your wife run into a friend at the market who says, oh, you don't happen to know anything about if quails have dicks or if they don't have dicks, do you? And Mrs. Combs says, oh, yes, absolutely, we do. We have a neighbor. And so she was really excited. Cora was so grateful uh, to know the markings to look for these quail. And so that's how my Father's Day got launched in a spectacular way. And I love when shit like that happens. Nobody really asked me any questions about is a bear is a man or a female with the bear running around. But so Father's Day networked some friends with some quail wisdom, and that's the fun thing. Plus, also that falls into the category of me not having to do anything. Basically, all I did was forward some text messages and quail pictures. That's the extent of the shit that I like to do. If it's actually running around and trying to find a quail and pick up the quail and put the quail somewhere or check the quail's pants to see if it has junk, that seems like it's more trouble than it's worth. So that was fun stuff there. I'm trying to figure out some other stuff here to talk about. We got Bon Jovi on the cover, which brings me back to our amazing group of friends. Now, one of my tech wizards, a dear friend, is Scott. He's over in the Philippines. He's one of 3 brothers. They all worked on film together. They all had different specialties. That's how we met Crenshaw. And so, it's Steve, Sean, and Scott. So we get to be friends with, really good friends with Scott. Pretty good. Okay, we don't really know Sean that well, but we know Steve has become a very good friend of ours, and so conversation came up that they all worked with film and production stuff, and it gets contracted out. Scott is in the Philippines now. He had to go to the Philippines to find his true love. Nicest guy you want to meet. He couldn't meet anyone. I asked him, "What do you do?" And he said, "Well, when the Eagles have a home game, and you're watching on TV, and they put that yellow line on the TV for like the first down, he's the guy who drops the yellow line." I'm like, dude, you could be getting laid so hard at a fucking sports bar with that line, but he had wound up going to the Philippines to find true love. Now, Steve, who found true love here, the subject of Bon Jovi came up, and because of this is a Bearman story. Okay, so Bearman hooked me up with audio images. They no longer in business, but they installed sound systems in rich people's homes. You just say, you'd call them up and it'd be 30, 40 grand, and they'd come in and they'd give you state of the art TV, home theater, all this shit. And they helped me piece something together, really budget friendly, but piece at a time. And the subject of Bon Jovi came up there. Bon Jovi had a terrible fucking live recording, and somehow they tracked down the audio images guys, and they wanted them to clean up this sound file. And they told me the story that they couldn't do anything for it because the more they cleaned it up, the more you could hear the flaws. So it was better that it was all kind of, because as soon as they sliced everything up, and Bon Jovi and his people had they couldn't process this. We can't just remove things from this fucking audio file. The better we make the other things sound, the shittier the shitty things will actually sound. It's the same theory with dance and singers. If you have 13 dancers and only 3 of them can dance, they're going to make the other ones look really worse. So it's that principle. So the subject, I was telling Steve this story, and then Steve told me the story that they were doing a Bon Jovi event in New Jersey. He actually said, Bon Jovi hates me. And that's a bold statement. If you walk around and say Bon Jovi hates me, Caesar's sticking around. Come on up, I'm telling you a Bon Jovi story, but you're more fun than that. And so Steve worked for a production company. They were doing a live event for Bon Jovi, and they had lyrics in an old hand crank machine, and Bon Jovi's people loaded that up. Steve's job was to listen to him sing the lyrics and just kind of hand crank the cue card, monitor, whatever, because Bon Jovi didn't know his own song lyrics. And so Bon Jovi's people put the wrong songs in, or they put them in the wrong order, and he got all pissed off at Steve, and he was yelling at him like during the concert, and I think Steve said something like, well, your fucking songs, man, I don't know the lyrics, you should know the lyrics. So that became a thing where he could never see Bon Jovi because he's a big guy and they would recognize him. So he's, I don't know if Bon Jovi's his enemy, but he can't see Bon Jovi. And everybody should really have a rock star that they can't see. I actually can't see Def Leppard because of a WZZO event where we were playing soccer, and WZZO Barry Keith thought it would be fun if it was a soccer charity match. WZZO people, Office, and DJs would play Def Leppard. What they didn't really fully understand is Def Leppard doesn't call it soccer, it's football to them. That's a thing from across the pond, like Ted Lasso. And they fucking took their football, soccer very seriously. They had all the outfits and all that shit, and they were warming up and do stuff. I got a live microphone, and I got to run around and do live commentary for WZZO Bearman and Keith soccer, football, charity match. And Def Leppard did not appreciate me at all because they were playing football and they were quite serious about this whole thing. And they were, quite honestly, they were real fucking douchebags. There's no polite way to say it. People didn't give a flying fuck about the soccer football match. They wanted to see Bon Jovi, and they wanted autographs, and they wanted pictures, and they wanted shit signed and all that. And so I got into all kinds of trouble. If you know Allen High School football stadium over in Allentown, the bleachers go way up in the fucking sky, and that's where the sound guy was. And they had one of the Def Leppard guys' names wrong, and their manager, who was also playing, he just figured I would do stuff if he told me to do. He said, you gotta run up there and tell that man in the box his name at 87 is not that, it's that. I said, I'm not running way up those steps. You go up those steps. You're their fucking manager. You're the guy they pay to run up those fucking steps. I'm the guy who doesn't get paid, and I run around with a microphone and I piss off the British rock stars. That's what I do. And he goes to me, well, excuse me, I mistook you for someone who was trying to help us. What the fuck? So that guy, I pissed him off, And then I did detect some attitude. Now, the other bit, they're going to be playing at the fair like the next night. Ugly Kid Joe was the opening act, and they were all kids. They were like fucking 19, 20, 20. They knew they fucking hit it. They knew they hit it. We're on tour with Def Leppard. This is fucking amazing. They were really fun. They were running around and they were doing selfies and posing and having all kinds of fun. I gave them a Raymond the Amish comic t-shirt, which they wore in a photo shoot for a heavy metal magazine. But the luck of the Amish is they actually took the picture beaming off like a truck, what the fuck do you call it? Whatever a truck tire would be. I don't even know what it would be. Rims, you know, the chrome rims, so you can see it. So I'm in that. So they were a lot of fun, and they were loving life, and they were behaving like Def Leppard should have behaved, and then that fucking pissed me off. So the drummer was down to one arm by now. I know that's uncomfortable, but so we're running around the field. I have the microphone, and I thought I've had it with these fucking snooty British rock stars, and I chased the one armer around a little bit, and I said, "How about an autograph?" And he said, "Now I can't do a British accent when I wanna. Your timing's not very good." That's the wrong accent, but you get the fucking point. And I said, "Come on, don't be a dick. How about an autograph?" And I whacked him like this. Accidentally, I hit him in the arm stump. That was an accident, but it was extremely fucking awkward. And he came over, and I had a paper and pencil in my pocket, and I pulled it out, and I went, "Raymond the Amish comic, there you go." And I signed him my autograph, and they fucking gave it to him in his good arm, and then they fucking ran off. So I can't see Def Leppard anymore. I sort of think they remember me. And one of them became an artist, and he was doing a thing at the King of Prussia Mall, and we were down there, Mrs. Comic and I, and our daughter, I think she was a teenager at the time, and we were talking about this, and I'm like, oh shit, I can't go in there because the Def Leppard guy is going to fucking remember me. So Raymond the Amish comic had to hide from the Def Leppard guy who was doing an art show at the King of Prussia Mall, because I whacked the guy in the stump and asked for an autograph, but I actually gave him an autograph, and I should have a picture to go along with that. But so that's why it's possible that everybody has like a rock star that they piss off. But now the yin and yang, the alternate universe, Ian Anderson of Jethro Tull, we hit it off. We hit it off. I can text him. I don't bug him too much. He again, Behrman and Keith event. It was Ian Anderson rubbing elbows with Ian Anderson. It wasn't Jethro Tull. It was a more acoustic version tour, and it was an event. It was called Rubbing Elbows with Ian Anderson. So what they wanted was Behrman and Keith would be on stage on a sofa, and they play a couple of songs. Ian Anderson and a handful of musicians he brought along. They play a couple of songs, then they'd sit on the couch and he talked to Behrman and Keith live. This was all live, and Ian Anderson, they requested, they wanted a local celebrity, they wanted a local politician, they wanted a couple of contest winners. I got plugged in as the local celebrity, and nobody told Ian Anderson that it was live, and he was fucking cursing up a storm, and he said some really kind of weighty shit, of which I can't remember, but it was pretty damn extreme. And so when I met him, when it was my turn, this is how much of a dick I am. I said, I just want to say that I was warned not to say all the stuff that you could say, because I understand that I'm not Ian Anderson. I'm just the local guy. But and then he felt so fucking bad. It was one of the worst things I've ever done. The show just fucking tanked. The fucking Titanic hit the iceberg, and it just fucking went down. So we had to cook out of that nightmare. And then, oh wait, I got it here. Hang on. Check this shit out. I'll be back. It's right over here. I actually have a Mrs. Comic always gets these things for me. So the big finale of that show Uh, because it wasn't Jethro Tull. It was Ian Anderson rubbing elbows with Ian Anderson, which I still do because of the germ thing and all that. The grand finale was Locomotive Breath, and Ian Anderson went around and passed out about 24 of these. This is an official kazoo given to me by my friend Ian Anderson, and the song was Locomotive Breath, and at the end there was big. They do the thing, and then you play the thing, and Ian Anderson was actually going around with the microphone, and he held the microphone for me. And when I blew into it, I couldn't make a sound. Oh shit, mine's broke. And then he laughed. So we actually got to be really, we hit it off. We absolutely hit it off. We stay in touch. Our daughter was going to be going to England for a school field trip, and it turns out she wound up not going. But I had actually arranged. I was going to be going along, chaperone, Yahoo. But somehow we didn't go on that trip. But I had actually arranged during that school trip for myself and our daughter to go have lunch with Ian Anderson in England. He blocked out a time for us and everything, and then because I'm a dick, I had to undo it. So there you have it. I don't see how I could end the show on anything more exciting than Bon Jovi hates our friend Steve, all of Def Leppard hates me, and they can fuck me in a bucket of goo because Ian Anderson is a friend of mine. In fact, the final Ian Anderson story there is when they were at Music Fest a few years ago, I had emailed him for comps because I have no shame. I got full-blown VIP Ian Anderson, Jethro Tull passes, which meant not only did we have deluxe seating in the front, but after it was over, we got to go into a very select meet and greet group. And these tickets, you could not buy them. You could not buy these tickets. Ian Anderson had to assign them to you and contact the venue. So I went over to Music Fest and I told them that I had 3 VIP seats being held for me from my dear friend Ian Anderson, and they literally went to pick up the phone to call security because they thought I was a fucking drunken ass, and they looked for the tickets and they couldn't find them, and I said, well, these aren't just comps. I am a VIP, so if you have a special drawer where Ian Anderson's special friends are kept, looking at fucking drawer, and if they're not in there, then you can call the cops on me. And they went and looked, and to their surprise, they turned white as a ghost and said, oh, we're very sorry. And then they had to fucking apologize because I was on the gold team. How about that? So fuck you, security guy at Music Fest. Fuck you, Def Leppard. And fuck you, Bon Jovi. I love Ian Anderson. So there you go. That's a wrap for this week. Thanks for tuning in. Don't be a dick to people. Sorry everything was so late and all over the place, but we love you. Mrs. Comic sends her howdy doos, and I think we should be. You can assume that I'm going to stream Tuesday nights, which don't, because as soon as I say that, I'll put the fucking curse on it. Just wait for me to say that that's what I'm going to do, and hopefully we'll do it. So thanks for tuning in, and have a wonderful week. And it's hotter than hell out there. That means watch your temper. When it's fucking hot, people snap. So just count to 3 or 10 or whatever. And if you find out someone's 65 years old, don't ask them if they need any fucking help getting up unless they fall down. All right, how about that? So, all right, I think that's the show. We're going to wrap this thing up right here. We will leave you with, where is it? I will leave you with, that's a bear. That's why I'm a little late for my show. There is a bear running. All right, folks. I don't think it's a good idea.